trees in the backwoods night. Red lights cutting through the pine in flight. Bigfoot stomping with his youngling beard. Whispers of tales that ain't too clear. UFOs buzzing solo through the haze. Howling banshees set the forest ablaze. Jersey devil howls, drink rays to the sky. Drunken cryptids party until the morning's night. Yeah. It's showtime, running wild in the moonlight. Stars burn down, watch the freaks all take flight.
To good times.
Raise your glasses to the mysteries divine. It's showtime, let the cryptids realign.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. I'm Matthew Orton, and a quick shout out to blademedia.com. Thanks for the website, thanks for everything. If you guys want some work done, go to blademedia.com. Also, the quick shout out to the team. You guys are amazing. I appreciate all the help, support you've given me over the years. Wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for y'all. And of course, I got to shout out some of my friends out there. Cryptids the Corn. Obviously, got to shout out Cryptids the Corn. Miss Monsters of Most. Coming with the Spirits. Never More Hollows. And Cryptid Podcast. The list goes on and on. You guys, for so much support that's in the community right now is great. It does seem to be like podcasters and podcasting seems to be the next level for researchers. We're getting away from like the TV shows. We're getting away from all that stuff. And through encounters about, especially with the guests I'm about to bring on, and you can see him right there in the waiting room, smiling away. It's through talking with people like this, honestly, I believe that we're going to get to the bottom of the phenomenon. Really, really do. Especially with my theories out. Me and, Randy Bauer's the guest, by the way, but me and Randy talked for about a good 40 minutes earlier today, I think, on the phone. And some of our theories are, my theory, you kind of confirmed for me earlier today. So that was really awesome. I feel, awesome about that. Real quick, though, you guys, thank you for liking and sharing the show. I appreciate it. I see it. Keep liking, keep sharing. The only way we're going to get an algorithm, if you do like it, leave a 5-star review. If you would, please. If you like the show, leave a review. If you don't like the show, don't leave a review. And if you don't like it, send it to your enemy. Maybe they'll like it. I don't know. But I do see the comments, you guys. So definitely graded. We did just get back from Ada, Ohio, from the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree 2. You just saw the episode I dropped last week about that. So, had a great time up there, which is how I had heard Randy before, and now I get a chance to. I met him personally, which was great. And as soon as I met him, I was like, I know that voice.
Yeah.
I recognize your voice. I just couldn't place it. And then Justin told me, he goes, have you talked to Randy? And I was like, not yet. I said, we met, but we haven't talked. And he goes, he's the guy up in Minnesota. I was like, and then he mentioned, hey, I'm a musician. I travel all the time. I know exactly who you are. I remember your episode. So, but before I jump into the guests, you guys, remember, if you've had an encounter and you want to come on the show, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Follow us on our social media platforms. But Randy, it is, first off, it was so much fun meeting you and your group of friends that you had. It was great watching you guys interact together. I wish we could have had more time to hang out, but you were busy and I was busy, and I felt horrible about that. So I was trying to track you down right there at the end of the Jamboree to see if you'd be willing to come on the show. So it's a true honor that you're on the show. You've had so many encounters. You have so much of your own research that you've been doing on your property. It's been told before, it's like Skinwalker Ranch of, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
From everything. I did not want to go back and listen to your episode on the other show because I wanted to get a good, fresh perspective on it today, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but the honor, truly honored to have you on the show. So, but I tell you what, I'm going to turn it over to you. And if you want to tell everybody about you I did mention that you're a musician, and we'll let you take over from there.
Sure. Okay, I'm Randy. I live about 60 miles south of Canada, or like 270 miles north of Minneapolis. Yeah, I'm a musician. That's all I've ever done. I play sax, keyboards. I have a sound company where I provide production for national acts, little acts, whatever I get booked. And see, I started playing accordion when I was 8, and up till 16, I wanted to be the next polka king. Then I switched. So I play it once while in the band. How would I want to start? I was never a believer in Bigfoot, a non-believer, believer. I wasn't anything like the Loch Ness Monster. I don't even think about it. I'm hunt deer. I'm big in the deer hunting thing. When I was younger, at 12 years old, Dad would put me in the stand, like back in the woods, and I had set there dark till dark. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this part. And I still hunt that way, right behind the house here, and I go back into the state land. I just build a stand out of the trees there, platform, railings, and I put some camouflage burlap around it, and I sit there dark till dark. I don't get out for nothing, but I see a lot of deer that way, and I'm there all day long. After deer hunting's over, I will go back the next day in the morning to see if I can see where the deer go during the deer hunting pressure. And I'm way back there, and I'm walking. I get kind of close to my stand, past it, east of a stand. I come across, I'm going to call it like a deer massacre. We had snow on the ground. There was 3 beds. If you know about deer hunting, they bed down. A bed, and a bed. Right together. Not far from my stand. Something killed 3 deer in their bed, and left nothing but plucked out hair, not a bone, not a rib cage, not a spine, not a leg, not a neck, nothing. All 3 deer. There was some blood sprayed on the trees, and I thought, oh my God. We have a lot of timber wolves here. I'm not talking coyotes, the big ones. Oh my God, a pack of wolves here, and I got no gun or nothing. And I felt really weird. I thought it was a pack of wolves. A pack of wolves cannot kill 3 deer in their bed and leave. There'd be bones all over and scattered, gut, everything would be a mess. So I take a picture of it, and I decided to leave right away because I got no gun with me. And I get home. I was going to show my wife Terry the picture, and the picture was gone. I know now what happened, but then I didn't. I thought, oh my God, I got this new iPhone, maybe an iPhone 4, whatever it was. It wasn't great because this is 12 and a half years ago. And I must not have known how to save it. Now, our band, we play a lot in the state of Wyoming, Nevada, Arizona, the western states. We'll do a little 6-week tour and come back home, wait for a week, and go back out again. I'm not doing that so much anymore. I'm doing more of the sound production jobs. Still playing, though. And we go on the road, and 12 and a half years ago in Minnesota, in February, the snow was past your knees in the woods. It was really deep. And it was going to be 40 below that night. And I don't mean wind chill. So I knew I could take the snowmobile, they were big in snowmobiling too, and ride around the old trails. And you can't get a car back there to pick up. They're just old logging trails from a long, long, long time ago. Some are even growed in like this here. And I knew if I could ride the snowmobile on those old trails, I could walk next morning. That snowmobile trail would be froze. And I like walking the woods. So I'm doing that, and I come back, and getting closer to home, I come across these tracks. They were 18 inches long after I got the tape measure, and there were 7 feet between each step, in line like this, like a model would work, not staggered. Now, if a deer is jumping in that deep of snow, every time it takes a jump, its belly is going to hit the snow between each jump, and you're going to see it. But I'm looking at him, and what the heck? I even laughed to myself. I said, is this Bigfoot? Looking at him, I kind of ruined him because I had my tracks around him, not knowing what I was looking at. I put sticks in each one, and I followed him to the east, but every step was past my knees. I just couldn't do it, and I don't have snowshoes. And they stepped across the river, and that's more than 7 feet wide. And I did follow them a little ways to the south, and all of a sudden they disappeared. No more. It was in the opening. No more. But I still didn't really know what I was looking at. So I go home and I look up Bigfoot, Minnesota. I come across this sanction called SRA, Sasquatch Research Association of Minnesota. Some of the guys used to be part of the BFRO, and they broke off and started their own thing. They had a thing I could fill out and send pictures, and I did. It wasn't even an hour. I got a phone call from the head guy. He says, Randy, you got a squatch. And that's how this all started for me. And I don't know. I've been here since 79. I don't know if it was there before or what. I don't know. But I did notice, like in March, we got a deer food plot back here. I noticed there's no deer tracks. I said, Terry, this is really weird. There's no deer tracks back in here. And then Jim told me what to look for. Look for hexes, structures like that. And do I have a lot of them? Hundreds of them. And I've been hunting in the woods since I'm 12 years old. In the woods, I don't hunt along a field, nothing like that. I have never seen sticks fly through the air and land in an X or a teepee or a Y or an A. I have lots of them. Not once I've ever seen. Yeah, trees do fall down, little trees, and they fall down and they get whatever. But they have a root base. These don't have no root base. Their sticks have been put there. So that happened. Where do I go from here?
And wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you on the X's. Is that when I go out and research and I find the X trees, the first thing I'm looking at the root base. Is there a root base? What's going on with it? Because trees do fall in the woods and they will crisscross.
They will.
Weird, but when there's no root base and it's actually just plain cut, or the other ones I've seen is the root base is there, but you can tell it's been uprooted, like
exactly
it had been pulled up, and I can't find where it came from.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. Now, like everything is not Sasquatch in the woods. I mean, you can tell the difference. You can tell the big difference. Yeah. So I got to intercept this and put this in here. What you're going to hear from me is I don't give theories. Anything I say is not a theory or opinion. I'm going to tell you what I know. Sasquatch, they communicate with me. It took a long time to get to this point. I was just like everybody else, hitting a tree with a stick and doing that whooping sound and cameras all over hell and all that stuff.
Well, I'll tell you real quick when it comes to hitting trees with sticks, and I tell my team this, is that one, we don't do that, and I fully believe that they're not hitting trees with sticks. So when we go out and we research, I'm not trying to do tree knocks because that's not what they're doing.
No, and I'll be able to tell you what they're doing, but I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah. So that's fine, but because I do believe that the tree knocks are not them hitting trees, and they know when we're hitting trees.
Yeah, they should even change it. They shouldn't even say wood knocks anymore because that's not what they are. And there's this one, I won't say their name, big group in Minnesota. They say they're communicating back with each other. No, they're not. That is not what it is. But like I say, I'll get into that later. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to skip ahead, so otherwise I'd be talking for 2 days. Okay, we got
as long as you want, brother.
Okay. So that all happened. I look at instructions and all that, and I have lots of them. Lots and lots. I got A's, perfect A's, like lean-to looking things. So Jim, the head guy, said, Randy, you don't want to feed them. If you stop feeding them like apples and stuff, you're going to have a hard time with it. Well, I don't listen. I do my own thing. I want the interaction with them because I wanted to really learn. So here's what I did. At the time, my uncle owned the 80 acres before the state land. And then he sold it to the farmer and he put a fence around it. I could drive the four-wheeler all the way back there. So I took the four-wheeler, I took a aluminum ladder, part of a double-section ladder, and I took 6 apples. I cut them in half, so I had 12 halves. The reason I took the ladder, I wanted to put the halves in popple trees. If a bear would climb up there, a raccoon, porcupine, whatever, I'd see the scratches and marks in the trees. I stood the ladder and I reached out as far as I could and high enough where a deer couldn't get at them. Stuck them on a branch, I did that all around with the 12 apples. Close. Every day they were gone. They were gone every day and there was no mark and it was just picked off. So one day there was an old deer stand about 12 feet up that somebody built a long time ago and it's got some wool wrapping around it. So I said, I'm going to sit in that stand. I'm going to see what's going on because I had never seen one yet. And I still thinking there's some big animal. And I'm sitting in there and the trail is just barely wide enough for a four-wheeler because the brush is really growing in it. It's not kept up because it's landlocked. People can't even get back there. There's older farmers. Nobody even hunts back in there. I'm the only one. So I parked the four-wheeler by the deer stand. I crawl up there. I must be there for an hour or so. It's not dark or nothing. All of a sudden, like this here, I see my first Sasquatch. From this side, of the trail of woods, it crosses over and goes to this side. Did I get scared? Yes, I did. I thought, oh my God, them things are real. Oh my God. I knew it was real, but I never seen one. Now what am I going to do? I don't want to stay here. It's here. I don't want to get down either. I sat there for a while. I got brave enough and got down. I was glad I had the four-wheeler there because I'd had to walk 2 miles in the woods to get back. So that was my first sighting. And then when we'd come back off the road, we might have somebody, a guitar player or whatever from Missouri or wherever they're from. Well, they can't go home, and we go back in a week, go out on the road again. They got to stay there. So we got this 12 by 60 trailer house. It's nice. It's got a roof. It was my uncle's hunting shack thing, and he'd give it to me. It didn't have electric in it, so I buried 3 extension cords from our house so we could have lights in there and a fan, maybe a VCR or a DVD player, and it worked all right. It had 2 bedrooms and a couch.
That's what we do with the first tavern. We ran an extension cord from the house and, all the way out to the tavern so we could have the lights and the TV and the refrigerator and everything.
Yeah, because we're only home for 4 or 5 days or so, and we go back out on the road again. We were going to get on the road. They come in the van there, the guitar player, Chris. He said, I'll never settle there again. I said, why? He said, something went through your yard. He had a cone head, red eyes, and it was huge, he said. And he said it sounded like the Tasmanian devil. I thought he was joking. And Terry, my wife, she traveled on the road too. I taught her how to run sound for a band. And I thought he was joking with me, just making that up. About a month later, we're home. We got our window open. About 4 a.m, through the bottom of our yard, going east, going to the river and stuff. We heard the same thing. We both got up. We're listening to it. We couldn't see it because our yard light wasn't working. I can kind of do it, not really, but it was like some Chinese, some kind of talking thing. I did not know what the Sierra sounds were, so I called Jim, the head guy. He said, Randy, go to the Sierra sounds. Is that what you heard? Exactly what I heard. Exactly. My wife heard it. We sat there and listened to it. We got a big yard, probably over an acre. So it came from the west in our driveway, and it was going east. Walked through the whole yard. We listened to it. It wasn't just like one time, one little bit. It was a lot. So we couldn't see it. So it seemed like there was 2 there, but I'm not sure. There was 1 for sure. I got something else to tell you, just a little break here. Ravens have something to do with the Sasquatch because they follow me around, 3 of them. They'll follow me around in the woods. I don't know why they do that. I got a few things that when Brian, he was at Ohio there with us, he was sitting in one of my deer stands because of the Sasquatch thing. And he had a raven circling around him, hovered, got to his face like this, and then went up to a branch on the tree. He looked up, it was gone. It wasn't there. Now, one time, I had a guy named Andy, he used to be part of the BFRO. Him and Jim are the ones that quit the BFRO and went and started the SRA. He's seen one, him and his kid, one night about midnight, walking around the 40 acres here. And I told Mike, the guy that wrote the book about my place, it was in the morning when they were getting ready to leave, I said, Mike, let's walk down there. And we did. Of course, I knew we were going to see nothing. I just walked down there. We come back, standing by my pickup. Out of the tops of the trees comes a raven. It gets lower than the treetops. It flies about that far from us. My nose height, I'm only 5'6". It's hovering right there, looks at us, turns around and goes back. Now that's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird. And Mike was there. He's seen it too. I can't explain that. Okay, so let me see here. Where should I go from here? Jim's, I used to carry a rifle because I didn't know what they were. And not that I'm going to shoot one. I'm not going to shoot one. I never would do that. But I'd carry a rifle. Well, I had a 300 short ultra mag, if you know what that is. That's a big one. I'd carry it. And one time, I'm walking south of our house. I go through this old cow pasture. I get to the edge of the woods. There's an old barbed wire fence. There's snow on the ground. I get an awful, awful scream growl at me. I even got my gun unshouldered and stuff. And I said, well, am I going to do this or am I going to go back home? Nope, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do it. I cross the barbed wire fence. I go about 50 yards in the woods there, and there is a fresh deer kill. All of a sudden, it was his hair. Nothing, no blood, no guts, no nothing. Just hair again. And you can see the hair's been plucked out. No hide, anything. But the deer tail is laying up in a pine tree. But on top of that pine tree branch where the deer tail is, there's a birch stick about that long laying on top of it. There's no birch trees there. It was brought there. And then I had 7 bird whistles at me. Weird bird whistles. I never seen a bird. And then I decided to get up and walk towards that. I didn't. There was no bird. Okay, I still don't know what they are yet. I'm still doing the cameras and all that stuff. Then after that, where do we go from here? Well, they do a lot of things, but I want to wait.
Well, let me pause you real quick because I want to go back to your guitar player real quick when you said it was a cone head and red eyes.
Red eyes.
So like red glowing eyes?
Yeah, red glowing eyes.
Okay.
It was nighttime. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning thing. He was sitting on a picnic table outside smoking.
Okay, well that makes sense. But I mean, yeah, the red eye thing is what I mean because we get a lot of reports of red eyes out there, but I've always associated with the red eye ones almost with kind of similar with the Fey folk. So that's what curious. But it said he also said it sounded like the Tasmanian devil.
That's what he called it as. Yeah. He heard the Sarah sounds too, but that's how he didn't know nothing about no Sarah sounds either.
Now you mention it, I mean, playing the Sierra sounds in my head right now, it could be passed off as almost sounding like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, like that or samurai chatter or.
Yeah. Well, it's samurai chatter. Like, how like the Tasmanian devil better than samurai chatter? I think I'll start using that.
Yeah. And I asked for the interaction. I asked for it. I want them to come up here. I'm not scared of them whatsoever. Nothing to be scared of. Yeah, you get scared when you first see one. Of course, it's scary. Then I had to go to Minneapolis and play with this disco band. And I got this fancy Dodge pickup. Well, it was fancy. Now it's getting rust on the quarter panels. But I didn't want to drive down by. We live right by a power line corridor. And another thing, we live by 2 rivers that come together in a Y. Supposedly, that's supposed to have something to do with something. Anyway, so I drove down the power line. In a 40-acre square is a quarter mile by quarter mile around. That's a 40 acres. So I get almost down there, and on the next 40 acres, it's my daughter's father-in-law owns that. And about not even a quarter down on the next 40 acres, I see something wide and huge, and it's like reddish colored. I think, what the heck? Is that a 4-wheeler and a trailer down there stuck? That's how big it was. Well, that really looks weird. So I get out and I start walking down to it. I get about 60 yards from it and it stands up. And that's the red one. That was my first double Class A sighted, what I say. We look at each other. After the incident's all done, it was behind a little popple sapling like that when it stood up. Little. About a couple of them. So I pull it down, and that was 8 feet tall. This thing was 9 foot tall. But here's the weird thing. I'm watching it. We're looking at each other. I go down like this. Just like that. I don't know why. I looked at my foot, and then it was gone. So, no, I don't know what it did. Did it walk off? I don't know. And that's where I got that knuckle, thumb, and wrist thing that I sent to you in that cast. But when I first cast it, and another friend of mine come over there, because he did a lot more casting than I did. That would be the first one I did. I thought that was a thumb, or not a thumb, like a dew claw thing. I didn't realize it was a knuckles and a thumb. I thought it was a dew claw. I didn't know what it was really, but it's not that. It's just like this. That's what that thing is.
Well, that kind of falls in line with my theory of them moving in the spider crawl that we talked about earlier, off air. Mm-hmm. When you go into the description, how one man, you describe it as it stood up, and then you look down and you look back up again, and it was gone. Mm-hmm. And that's walking on up and finding that track area.
Only thing is, there was only one. It was all swampy. There was only one. There was no more.
See, and I think in some aspects too, when they do move like that, though, one, they use it for hunting, right? Because they can creep up as a cat would, get down low and crouch. So they're low to the ground to crouch as well. And I think they also use it as an easier mode of transportation. Oh, this is an 8-9 foot creature. It's going to be weighing 1,000, 1,500 pounds, maybe 2,000 pounds. And on the upright joints built that way, that's hard on our bodies, as we all know. So I think that with them being able to move like that, that helps distribute the weight of their body, not for them to hide their tracks from us per se, but to actually, you know what I mean, to move.
Should I tell you what they've told me what they are? Do you want me to keep going my story before I get to all that?
Keep going with your story. I'm just trying to set some things up for you for later down the road. I'm kind of throwing some balls at you.
So last year, I gift them. I do it at the 40 acres here now, since they got that barbed wire fence. Farmer lets me cross there to get the state land, but it's a pain to crawl through that 5-strand barbed wire. I can do it easily. So I gift behind my house here. I went through 300 jars of peanut butter last year and 30 bags of apples. This year, I don't even count no more. And the way I do it is, I should buy them from Amazon, but I'll go to Dollar General and buy a bunch to store, or go to Walmart 40 miles away. I just switch it up, because if I did it at one place, they're going to say, what is he doing with that peanut butter? So here's how I do it. I got 4 nails in a tree and not high up, just like right here. I take the lid off. I take the paper off, put the lid back on. I put the jar like this. Sometimes I do 2 jars. Sometimes I do candy bars, that, and granola bars, or whatever. And the power box by the power line pole, I got marbles on there. The ones you buy at Walmart, they're flat on one side. They may go in a bowl in your bathroom. They're white and they're blue. And by my peanut butter tree, I have about that long. They're pre-cut. They're red for a weed eater. You could stick 3 of them in. Pre-cut weed eater lines instead of the spool. You got it. Okay, I have them. Right by that, another spot, I have a bunch of kids' little wooden blocks about that long. And then I got a eraser board with some magnetic letters on it and some bigger marbles on that. And then about 15 yards away, I've got a Rubik's Cube, some dice, a couple popsicle sticks. And here's what I do. I do it on the power transformer too. I'll go do my peanut butter thing, and then I'll take a picture of the red weed eater lines, and I put them in a random design. It doesn't make no difference, whatever I think of. I do that the same with the eraser board, the same with the wooden blocks, the same with the Rubik's Cube and the dice. Like, that's what I did today. And then I'll go back to tomorrow, and everything is always moved in a different design. Then I'll take a picture of that, and then I'll say, man, you guys really got me good on that one. Let's see what you can do here. And sometimes I put them in Jesus cross on the little wooden blocks, and it's always destroyed. Probably doesn't mean nothing. Sometimes they put my dice at 666. It probably doesn't mean nothing. But what it is, some people think, man, Randy, they're giving you a message. They're writing some kind of letters down for you. No, they're not. It's the young ones, the juveniles. I'm messing with them, and they're messing with me. That is all it is. Simple as that. It's all it is.
Now, we're dealing with the same thing in our investigation area. We got some juveniles, I believe, that we're messing with. But I will say, so you talk about the dice and the 666. If you look at dice, the sixes are that's the most filled in side of the dice.
It is,
right?
Yep.
So that might be why it's that way, because for them, they're not. I don't think they're recognizing the number signature at all, but it's just that full side of the dice.
I don't know. They're way more advanced than we are, but I'll get into that. Okay, on the peanut butter thing, what they do is they take the cap off, and they put the cap down by the tree. They take the jar, and it's gone. All the colors of the caps, the reds are together, the blues are together, the yellows are together, browns are together. Or I sent you a picture of that. And sometimes they bring the jar back, they put it upside down in a bush, a branch of a tree or so. It looks like it went through a dishwasher. Yes, bears do get my peanut butter jar sometimes, raccoons. When a bear gets it, it's totally ripped up. The cap is bit right in half. When a raccoon gets it, it's chewed from the bottom. There's still residue in the peanut butter jars. That's the difference between a regular animal and a Sasquatch people. That is the difference. And I don't know if they're eating the peanut butter, because I've never seen them eat the peanut butter. They're not sitting there licking with the tongue. They're not doing that. I don't know what they're doing. That's why I don't give opinions or theories, because I'd just be guessing. So I never do that. And so now I was gone in Ohio the last couple of days. All my apples were gone. My 2 jars of peanut butter gone. All my candy bars were gone. Everything was gone. The caps were gone. The jar was gone. There's nothing there. And I walk around the woods a lot to see if I can find them and stuff. Nothing at all. So they don't always bring the jars back. I must have like 10 upside down in a branch of a tree or a bush, and they are perfect. Now, when a mice gets jars of they're chewing on, the cap is chewed all the way around it. And what they give me is deer skulls. So far, I got 44 deer skulls. Some of the deer skulls are really old. They've been on that trailer I got outside for 10 years, getting moss and stuff on them. But the antlers are not chewed on. In Minnesota, probably lots of places, like around January, February, the deer drop their antlers so they can grow new ones. And it's hard to find those when you go deer shed hunting, because raccoons and porcupines, I think porcupines mostly eat them because it's minerals for them. Or mice chew on them, squirrels chew on them, they're all chewed up. Mine are not chewed up at all. They're perfect. And I know why that is, but they'll put them on my steps on my deer stand. I'll walk in the woods, come back the same way, and there's an 8-point deer skull laying there. Well, it didn't walk by itself, and we do not have trespassers. There's not too many neighbors around here, and nobody's going out in the woods. I'm going to put a deer skull here and see if Randy finds it and hoax me. That is not happening. Not at all. And I don't even talk to the neighbors about this. In fact, my daughter that lives across the river here, I don't want to hear about it. I say, Rachel, you don't need to believe in Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I'm not trying to get you to believe in it. Just believe I'm not lying to you, because I'm not. No, White Terry has seen a Sasquatch cross the road, and it was down on his hands and knees. And we found, me and John Badger that's been here, we found impression just like that again. He's really good. I never look at that stuff anymore, but he found it. She was so worked up. She didn't even tell me about it the first day when she got home. She didn't even tell me where she'd seen it. Finally, she told me. Terry's daughter, Samantha, that works for me in my sound company, she has seen it. She will not walk in the woods with me no more. Bristol, the grandkids have seen it. They've been seen 42 times at my place on this. I don't go to other places, investigate people's land and all that stuff. I'm not a researcher anymore. I'm an interactor. They interact with me. But they've been seen 42 times here by people that I've let come here. I've seen them 13 times close up. I tell you what I do. When I let people come here, they camp out here and there, I'll put them in a certain spot. Here's what I say. Hey, I always say you guys, whether they're male or female. I say, hey, you guys, I got some friends coming here. I want you to scare the hell out of them. I mean, really get them good. But don't hurt them. They're good. It happens every time. Every time. They've been in.
I'm in.
Let's see. Do you want me to tell you the incidences those people had, the different incidents, or should I keep going on what I know?
Well, it's up to you. Wherever you want this to go, brother, this is your show.
I want to just keep on.
You go where you want to go.
On track. Okay, I'm going to tell you, who's ever listening, Sasquatch is not an animal. They're not a big animal hiding behind a tree, and you don't see them. They're not playing hide and seek. That is not what they are. They've been searching for these things hundreds and hundreds of years and never really gotten anything. Yeah, they might get half a picture of a body or see one run across the road, but that is not what they are. There's a reason why there's really been no evidence, because there never really will. The only evidence for people will be the ones that stop trying to get evidence. Don't do cameras. Don't do all that whooping sound and all that. Get them to trust you, and that'll be evidence for the individual person. Enough people get that, there's evidence for the world. They're interdimensional, metaphysical. Now, they have told me that. They interact with me all the time. So I'll just tell you what they told me. Last year, I said, can you guys tell me what's going on here? And they do it in a mind speak thing. I've never had that before. It was so clear. It was clearer than me talking right now. It just stopped me dead in my tracks. Oh my God, I said, thanks. It was that clear. Here's what they said. We do not migrate. We do not bury our dead in your earth as you know it. We do not live in caves. We do not live in swamps. We do not live deep in the woods. We go to caves. We do go deep in the woods. We do go to swamps. But we don't live on your earth as you know it. We're interdimensional, metaphysical. Yes, there are flesh and blood when they're in a metaphysical state, because they leave tracks, they leave hair, they do all that. But they're not, they are flesh and blood, but they're more than that. They're interdimensional. They can pop into our dimension, pop out. The knocking sound is not wood knocks. It's not them hitting a tree with a stick, wham. It's when they're popping into our dimension and popping out. That's what the knocking sound is. They told me what the X's mean. The X's are boundary markers, not for people, for other things we don't know about. They put X's by my steps all the time. One's about that long, little ones like this here. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4, sometimes they're gone. There's none there right now. Sometimes they're just 1. It's a protection X for the weird things we don't know about to not bother us. That's what the X's are. They told me why my deer skulls are perfect, except for the skulls themselves, by my antlers are not chewed on, because they were never laying on our earth as we know it. They've been brought to me as a gift. They give me Y sticks, lots of them. I have some in the house that are so perfect. Harry wouldn't let me keep any more in here, so they're out in the snowmobile trailer. And that is what they are. And I wouldn't even be saying this if they didn't tell me this. The only way it'd be wrong is if they're lying to me.
Let me pause you real quick
Yep.
because I want to go back to some of the stuff. So I do like the fact, man, that you said you're no longer a researcher, you're an interactor. And I like that. That's a really good way of describing you. So, they told you they were interdimensional and metaphysical. Did they tell you which dimension they were coming from?
No. And here's what they told me what they're not. They didn't tell me what they are.
Okay.
You know,
all right. Well, that was
they told me what they're not. I don't know.
So I have questions for them.
Yeah, I don't know what they are either. I know that, yes, to the flesh and blood people, yes, they are flesh and blood. They are that, but they're more than that. The people that think they're, and I don't mean to run nobody down, the people that think they're just some big animal hiding behind a tree, they'll never get anywhere with them because that's not what they are. And they can know your mind, they can know all that stuff. I'm going to go back to the beginning here. Doug Hychek called my place Skinwalker Ranch of the North. He said, Randy, why don't you put a camera out in my gifting area there and say this here, can we get a picture of you guys, and it'll just be for me and Doug. We'll not share it to nobody. Then I said, if you never want cameras here, ever, you got to give me some kind of sign that I can see, something I can see. You don't want cameras here. I leave. I go back the next day. Guess what? The camera's twisted. The batteries are drain dried. SD card is wiped clean. Don't have a picture of me. And there's a 15-foot Y, part of a tree, Y stick, laying on my camera. So I took that as a sign. I stopped doing cameras. My interaction got more. Then last year when I said, you know what, you guys, I'm going to stop trying to get evidence for the world. I will never let nobody bring cameras here, electronics here. I will not. My place is for the experience, not the evidence. If you're not really a knower, I'm not letting you come here. I don't need anybody to validate me anymore because my place is for the experience. And when I ask them to mess with people, they do. But they mess with me too. They've done some things that aren't cool. But I still ask for it. And that's when my activity really ramped up. Go ahead.
Well, let me get back to that. Let me let you jump ahead. So you talked about the mind speak thing, and the first time I ever heard about mind speak was actually from somebody very credible, i.e., Les Stroud. Les Stroud is one of the few people that came out publicly. Somebody of his celebrity status, in talking about mind speak and how they were mind speaking, and during an episode actually of Survivor Man, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, if you want an experience, you need to come back. And that's what as you said, experience. So that's big. And then the wood knock, you said that was where, they're coming in and out of, the dimension. So my Fort Hood encounter, what was crazy is what started the whole entire encounter wasn't a wood knock per se. My soldiers described it as a half canteen filled with water hitting the ground, and it made a thunk, a really unique thunk sound. And later on, about an hour and a half later, maybe 2 hours later, I heard it. And that's when the whole activity just ramped up when the second one happened an hour and a half later. So I could almost go with that after what I dealt with down there at Fort Hood.
Mm-hmm. And like I've got tracks here in the snow, pictures at 3 tracks and open. 1 track, another track, another track. Well, how'd that happen? They were fresh. The snow didn't blow the other ones over. They didn't jump out of a tree or off my roof. How did they leave? Because they popped in and they popped out. That makes sense. If you don't believe that, nothing else makes sense. The people that just believe that they're just a regular animal, you can't explain nothing. If you have an open mind to it and go in the woods with an open heart and forget all that other stuff, that explains everything, because that is what they are. There's no such thing as a woo on Sasquatch. They label that the woo. You're going down the woo. No, it's what Sasquatch is, or what they can do, and what they always can do. That's what they are. Just like here's another.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, you're right. I mean, when it comes, when it comes to Sasquatch, I tell everybody, my ideas, my opinion of what Sasquatch is, it changes almost daily. It really does. It's based upon the research that, again, like people like you, another eyewitness accounts of what they describe, and, compiling all that together. Again, my opinion changes. Or, when I first came into this, I was 100% flesh and blood creature. Nothing mystical, nothing magical about it. The more I've researched, the more I've gotten into it, and the more I've been, just heavily involved in all this, my opinion changed. Some days I'm fully over in the woo camp, and other days I'm in between. I've gotten away from the full flesh and blood to where I do think there's something supernatural about these creatures, on how they move. For, the creature that we were tracking up in North Heber Springs here in Arkansas, I got within 5 feet of it, of the eye shine, and gone. It completely gone.
And you didn't hear nothing walk off, did you?
Nothing at all. What got me even more, though, is I was trying to look where it went on the radio. Larry from Coming with the Spirits, he was in the front of the house of the, sitting at the front porch with the property owner's wife and OG's wife from Chumming. They were with us that night. And he comes across the radio going, contact, contact, contact. And he had a gray figure strolling through the front yard. And they, tried to catch it on film. We couldn't catch it on film. So, yeah. I mean,
that's what it is. Yeah, you just experienced it. I've only seen them in the daytime, never at nighttime. Maybe I repeat, they've been seen 42 times. I've seen them 13 times. I'll tell you some of the weird things they've done. One time, I may have told you earlier, but I'll say it again. I took my 2 grandkids, are the ones they're here. Bristol was 12, Madison was 7. And we went to the rodeo. My one granddaughter, big in the rodeo thing. And it rained really bad in Bemidji, Minnesota. And Rachel said, can you take our 1-ton truck and big trailer and leave your pickup here and come back with 25 bales of hay in the morning? Now the house is locked. Nobody's home. There ain't no dog here, nothing. I get home at 10. Oh, my damn, for stupid of me. I only have 1 house key, and it's on my pickup keys. Rachel's got my pickup. So I find a crowbar, and I kind of bashed the door, and I got in. I come into the kitchen there. I put the computer, I had just bought a computer on the table where I'm sitting at right now, and my hands get wet. What the heck? I turned the light on. Something came in a locked house, and the doors were still locked. Went in the freezer, got an ice cream bar out, opened it up, but it melted. I don't know if well, I won't try to show you. It melted on this end of the table, but the stick was on the opposite end of the table. It didn't slide there. It was put there. Now, at 5 a.m, if I'm going to have an ice cream bar, I'm going to eat it. And the girls are going to eat there because they're going to want one. I'm not having an ice cream bar at 5 a.m. Okay? So I get the girls to bed and all that. I go in my bedroom, get ready to pull the covers back. My hands get wet again. Something pissed in my bed all the way to the box spring. The whole bedspread, sheets, blankets, it was all peed on. It was the most sourest pee I've ever smelled in my life. It was bad. I couldn't sleep in the bed. I get the stuff down the basement to the wash machine, and I sleep on the couch. Okay, there's so much weirdness around here or they're messing with me. Now, this is more when I was still trying to get evidence when they were doing this. We got a golden retriever. So what happens when a female dog pees? She squats down, and she don't go to the bathroom in the house. She's trained good. And so you see these doors right here? Wait, you see that little glass panel, the little French door? See that? Okay. That's what our bedroom door looks like. I always lock my bedroom door when I'm here because I just feel weird if I don't. And I'm home by myself and the doors are locked. So, and by the bed, there's like a clothes hamper thing. You take the top off and the clothes will go down to the basement. And it's about 2.5, 3 feet tall. I throw my pants and my clothes are not dirty. I just throw them up on top of there. I go to bed and there's a blanket, not really a curtain, a blanket going down, but the last 3 windows are showing. About 2 or 3 in the morning, the dog is growling viciously, like she's sucking in a growl. Bad. The golden retrievers are not like that. And I get woke up to it, but I'm froze. I can't move. Guess what? The door handle's going click, 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 turning back and forth. I cannot move. And I must have, whatever happened there, I was back to sleep again. Guess what? The next morning I get up to grab my clothes. They're all pissed on, soaked, same sour smell. Bad.
Are you sure you didn't like piss them off?
Yeah,
No pun intended.
I know what it was. I know why they were getting me back. Because when I was out in the woods and I'm by one of the structures and seeing them looking it over, I got to pee. I'd go right there by them. Maybe I'd even pee on them. They got me back. And then I went out and I apologized. And ever since then, it's been a good 8 years now, and nothing like that has happened.
That's crazy.
The craziest thing, yeah. So when this was all getting going there, Jim, the head guy, said, "Randy, go ahead."
I'll send you a picture. After we get the recording, I'll email it to you or text it to you. When we went up to up north of Heber Springs, we'd come back from the one area where we had the gift at the vertebrae on the tree ranch, where I cut the knuckle track at, where we got growled at. We had been looking at the next property over. We could actually see something like playing peekaboo with us behind the tree.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, to be honest with you. And I remember I had a black light, little UV light with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing with it and looking around on the ground. And I happened to look over at the barbed wire fence that was beside us. And in this one bush area, it looked like something that came up and peed all over that one area. So me being me,
Mm-hmm.
I happen to have to go at the same time. So I was like, well, if you're going to mark it, I'm going to mark it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny you were talking about the pee thing, and it just made me. But I got a picture of the bushes, and you can look and see where, before I peed on it, where the urine came on it. Nothing else around it was wet, nothing at all. There was no real smell to it, though.
It wasn't. Oh, this was sour. Bad.
I think they were doing that just to really upset you.
They were, yeah. Okay. So Jim, head guy, said, "Randy, you got to stop carrying a rifle. They know what a rifle is, and you got to talk to them." Talk in the woods by myself? I'll feel like dumb. He said, "Yeah, you have to be like me walking in your house unannounced. You're going to wonder who's coming here." So he said, "Wear a GoPro camera backwards." I said, "I don't have one." He said, "Take your phone every once in a while, snap a picture." So I did that day, and I did feel dumb. But I said, "Hey, this is Randy. I'm just looking at your stuff. I'm harmless. I'm just trying to learn." And I said that a lot that day. I'm across the river back in the swampy kind of area. And so I get back home there, and I'm looking at my pictures. Oh, my God, I got 3 Sasquatches here. I was excited. All of a sudden, wham, on the side of the house. Oh, we live out in the sticks here. I think, well, who's at the door? I get startled. But it was really loud. So I get up to start walking, and a female voice that goes, "Randy!" Oh, my God, there is somebody there. I go there. There's nobody there. There's nobody. And people said, well, maybe there's no kids where we live at going to go and hit the house and not shake the house. So I look around. Oh, my God, there's a big old white handprint on the side of the house. That was the first hit. And they said my name. And since then, now they do it all the time, and they leave oily finger streaks like this here. Here's some other things they've done.
The name thing, I'm not going to lie, the name thing would freak me out. I mean, it takes a lot to scare me. I mean, I'm scareable, obviously.
Sure.
But if I was in the woods or in that situation, I think I probably would have, I would arm myself up at that point in time.
Well, here's what Jim had say. He said, "Did you really hear it, or was it in your mind, like a mind speak thing?" Well, it must have been in my mind because I didn't see nothing. That's what I thought. So I don't know. Did they actually vocalize it, or did they put it in my head?
Well, at that point in time, that'd be kind of hard. To tell the difference.
It would, because it was clear. Randy, it was clear as heck. Made me go to the door.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sasquatch does not smell. They don't have a bad sour body odor like people think. They do not smell like a dead horse, rotten meat, dog thing. They put that smell in a person's mind. And the reason they give the person that bad smell because they do not want them there. I've had a bunch of different times when people have been with me and they've got that smell and I'm right by them and my smeller works good and they don't give it to me. One time, Doug Hychek was with me from the History Channel. Doug Hychek is electronics recording guy, and Terry's son Tanner. He's like 37 years old. We're back by my peanut butter area, and Doug says, it kind of feels weird back in here. And then he says to me, sing. I said, sing? He says, yeah, you play in a band, sing something. So I sang some country song, and I quit, and they got overwhelmed with the smell. Really bad. I never had the smell. I started singing, the smell went away. I stopped singing, they got it again. So another time, well, I'll have to wait on that story. Here's some of the things that they...
We got to wait on that story?
Yeah, to tell you the story before that story. This another one about the smell.
Okay.
The only smell they've given to me is a horse smell, like a horse barn. And then I'll say, hey, I know you're here. And another smell they've given to me is a skunk smell. One time last year, and that was the first time the skunk smell. I'm doing my peanut butter and all that. All of a sudden, it just overcomes me. A strong skunk smell. And I think, oh my God, I don't want to get sprayed. Is there a skunk around here? I don't see nothing. So I start walking to where I got the dice and all that stuff. I get about 10 yards and I stop. I'm going to go back there. No skunk smell. I get to where the dice is at. Skunk smell is there. So then I said, I'm just going to walk in the woods and stop here and there. It followed me around to that woods. So now again, too, when I smell this, I say, hi, I see you. I smell you now. Okay.
Yeah. No, I've experienced the two smells I've experienced out there have been cat poop was one. And the other one was a skunky smell. It smelled like a skunk, but not so much of a skunk. It was right there on their front covered porch of the property owners. And it was like right there in the middle where me and Miss Lisa were the only two to smell.
There you
so
go.
We were both smelling. It was a really unique, musky, skunky, I was like, oh. And she goes, oh, you smell that? I was like, oh. So
yeah,
but nobody else caught it.
They put that in your mind. That's why.
It was just there and gone that quick. It was gone
because they took it away from your mind. That's exactly what it is.
Well, that was really nice of them. I didn't enjoy that smell.
Yeah. So I bought this camper. My daughter's father had it in his shop for a long time. It's an older thing, and the reason I bought it when I'm doing production because I do like the speakers and the lights and all that stuff at an outdoor festival. I do not want to go to a motel room. I need to stay by the stage in case it rains or I need to be there. And so the camper is in nice condition. No dents or nothing in it. And I bring it home. I got it parked up towards the woods line. I guess the door would be facing south. And I open it up and it's not on no hill or nothing where the door can shut. I go get some cleaning stuff and I come back. The door is shut. And it's locked. Oh my God, I don't have a key again. So I got to pry that darn thing open. So I got it open. I'm on my hands and knees right by the door. And I'm starting to clean it and wash the side of the door and stuff. And a Sasquatch walks right by me. I see the whole half the body, the legs and all that. It walks by me. I look out and it's gone. It disappeared. Boop, gone. It's like that. It did not walk off. It did not run off. It was gone. Okay. I said, thanks a lot for the door thing. So that happened. And about a week or so later, Terry's daughter, Samantha, and her two kids, they want to sleep in it for fun. But since Samantha seen one, she did not want it up by the woods line. She wanted me to turn it and get it down by our garage where I store the equipment. So that way the door was facing north. So I did all that. Terry comes outside. And we're not arguing, but we're discussing. I said, I got the door the way she wants it. She said, oh, no, you don't. She don't want it that way. I said, yes, she does. She wants it. And we're talking about the door. And so I go over and mow on my one daughter's part of her horse pasture with the big tractor and stuff. I come back a couple hours later, and Terry had been outside with one of the dogs. We got 2 golden retrievers now and a mini golden doodle, if you know what that is, a little thing like that. And Annie, she's 6 years old now. She gets so scared, she pulls Terry in the house and she won't stop. Terry's almost got to run, and it was growling bad. And they heard a big bang. So they're telling me about it. I look around the garage. I don't see nothing. I go by the camper door, and there's a dent that big by the camper door. They hit it. That's what they heard. I did send you that picture.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, I have that one. I saw that one.
Yep. And that's what that story's about. Okay. Now, that night, or a couple nights later, Samantha and the girls are going to sleep in the camper. Now, as you know, when you have a camper on the back of a pickup, you crank it off. You have the jack part on a heavy block, and you crank it down so it's level. Correct? Okay. So they're sleeping in the camper, and about 2 a.m, we get a frantic phone call. Samantha says, there's something shaking the camper back and forth and hitting it. So I go out there, and I knew I wasn't going to see nothing. I didn't see nothing, and I couldn't see anything. And well, you girls, you might come in the house there, but they got over their scaredness, and they finished the night out there. Nothing happened. Next morning, I go out there, and guess what? They shook the camper back so hard, they took the jack off, and it was into the ground. And there's knuckle marks over the side of it, and I sent that to you, too. That's what that is. So here's what here's what I said. I said, okay, you guys, keep coming to the house, mess around, hit things, move things around, have fun, but quit hitting the camper. You're putting dents in it, and you're scaring the girls. 2 years now, nothing's happened to that camper. So now I'm going to skip ahead now. This last week, I had Chris Lopez. He's got a podcast out of the state of Washington called Bound to Truth. And he really wanted to come here bad. So I let him come here. And I had Mike the book writer here and a couple other guys. 3 other guys only stayed Sunday night. And I'll put them in different spots. And people get experiences here when I'm not with them. So when I don't stay out there all night long. I got this little fire ring with some chairs around it and stuff back in the woods. It's like we got a deer food plot, and it's where the fire ring is at. And so here's the reason I'm skipping ahead, because Chris slept in my tent I put out in the woods for him, because he flew in here, and he didn't zip the flaps up, and it rained Sunday night. So my sleeping bag and stuff got all wet, and my tent got wet. So he was going to sleep in the camper Monday night. So I said, yeah, you can sleep in there. And I don't usually bring people to my gifting area a lot when I'm doing my thing. But like if you came here, of course I would, so you could see what I do. And
well, thank you.
So I do my gifting thing, and this is like 6 o'clock. I said, hey, you guys, I'm going to give you some permission. Chris is going to sleep in a camper. I give you permission to knock it around, hit it again. That's what I said. And he gets in the camper about 12, and next morning, he said, Randy, oh my God, he says, something was tapping on the windows constantly like this here. They cracked my window. 3 cracks in this corner, 3 cracks. One of those windows you crank out. They cracked the damn thing. Yeah. And they were shaking the camper back and forth. And he had a bag of Reese's Pieces, one of the bigger ones. You open the corner of it up and had a few. He folded it up and put it in a Ziploc bag, zipped it up, put it on the little kitchen of that camper. Next morning he gets up, guess what? All his Reese's Pieces are gone, and the empty bag's back in the Ziploc bag and not even chewed on. All of his
Was it closed?
Yes.
That's crazy. Oh, man.
That's what I mean. It's the craziest thing here. Okay. Then I might as well skip ahead. Then Tuesday night, I said, you know what? Why don't you sit in this deer stand? It's by my gifting area. Sit in it. But I want you to sit in there. You're not going to be texting, making sounds. You be so quiet. Maybe you'll see a deer or a bear come through there, a raccoon, or you'll see some kind of animal. So he did. And we're at the fire ring, me and Terry's son Tanner, because everybody else is gone now. At about 9:30, 10 o'clock, he comes walking back there with his flashlight. And I make everybody use red beam flashlights, no white lights. And he's going, I said, Chris, what's wrong? He can't breathe. I mean, he's not talking. I said, you got to calm down, take a deep breath. You're gonna have a heart attack, because he was hyperventilating. He got so scared. And usually he's got a thing when they do this paranormal ghost thing. He said, that is nothing compared to this. Not even close now. And he was sitting in that stand there, and something was lobbing acorns at him. He's not in no acorn tree. Lobbing him, and one of them hit the side of his face like that. But then when he looked, about 9 o'clock, there was that 11-footer, because when I stood where it was, we kind of estimated, was been watching him, and that's what did him in. Because then he realized it's real. That's when he realized, oh my God, and he got scared.
When you know, like I was telling you about the eye shine that we had, and what was really cool about that was, you know, I was all okay with it and getting closer and closer, closer to it. And when it blinked, you know, to me, I was like, oh, okay, you're real. And I took a step back, but at that point in time, I just got more motivated to get closer.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to learn, you want to experience it, yes.
Yep. The acorn thing, though, that happened to me up in outside of Harrison, Arkansas, when Jason Kinsey and Searching for Sasquatch came through. I was part of that.
Which number was it?
So, hasn't aired yet. It's going to be number 17.
I'm number 10.
Are you number 10? I'm number 17.
It won 5 international awards. Didn't do me no good, but there was too much silliness. Put it that way.
Well, we had fun, and
yeah, there's fun.
I was off camera. Yeah, I was off camera where we were at. We're getting ready to do the night investigation, and you know, Jason was getting some good night shots, and because you got to have the background photography, you have to, and I get that. So they're trying to get some good pictures with this really neat structure that we had behind us. So I had wandered away. Not far, obviously, because you don't ever want to wander off too far away. I was close enough to hear them, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, things are being thrown at me. So I broke out my phone and set up the recorder just to record, the sounds, and you can actually hear things being thrown at me. And I kept finding acorns. I do remember that. I kept finding these acorns. So and once you mentioned them throwing acorns, it just sparked that memory.
Well, here's the thing: Russ and his team leader guy. They spent the night in the cot on Sunday night down by the creek. No tent or nothing, all night long. And they had voices, but they couldn't understand the words, and they had acorns thrown at them too, all night long. And so did Chris. But here's the thing. I went down there on my hands and knees. I did not find one acorn on both spots. Not one. To me, that's really weird.
That is odd.
Now, I don't give theories, but this is an observation. Maybe nothing was being thrown at them. Maybe they did that mind thing. Yeah, because why wouldn't I find even one acorn? And no squirrel got the acorns. I don't get
Well, okay, on top of that, here's what the brain does. I've learned this. When people get scared, the brain's going to try and rationalize what's going on. So maybe it wasn't acorns. Maybe it was something else. But in his mind, it was acorns. So he pictured acorns being thrown at him. And that's why he said acorn.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything.
Nothing at all? No weird rocks or anything?
Nothing. Zero. Not a twig, not nothing.
Well, here's something. I heard a guy do an interview, and he was talking about them throwing rocks. And he said they weren't big rocks. They were, your average kind of like, hand rocks, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to hit, but throwing near him. And he would collect them. And so the reason why I have a UV light is because I listened to this guy's interview. And he said that he just happened to have a UV light, and for whatever reason, just turned it on, and they glowed under the UV light. Only the rocks that they were throwing glowed under the UV light. So I'm wondering, maybe next time that happens, get a UV light out there and see maybe something's glowing.
Because one time I brought some oranges out there, and they peeled the oranges with their fingers, and the big old peelings were laying there. Doug Highcheck said, Randy, get a UV light and put on it and see if you see the white stuff on there. Yeah, they are all full of white stuff on the peelings.
There's something to this stuff, man. There is something to this stuff.
Yeah, okay. So, back on the state line, when I still did cameras, but I didn't do them on the 40 acres. I said I wouldn't. Now I don't do cameras or anything. I put a camera on a tree facing some freezer burnt venison, some peanut butter apples, okay? And I put a camera, the opposite of that, facing that food, and both cameras facing each other, okay? And here's what I said. Okay, you guys, I want you to take this first camera. I want you to twist it, and I want you to ruin it. I never want it to work again, ever. But I want the batteries good and SD card to still be good. But I don't want no picture on it. Ruin the camera. Make it not work. I said on the next camera, I want a picture of me that I set it up. I want a picture of deer, bear, and ravens going through here. Then do your magic. Take all the food, and I want a picture of you. Then I want a picture of me when I pick the camera up. A couple of days, I go back there. All the food is gone. The first camera is twisted, and it's ruined. It doesn't work to this day. And that white fingerprints on it. It doesn't work, just like I asked. On the second camera, there's a picture of me when I set it up. There's a picture of deer, bear, and ravens going through there, and there's no picture of the food being taken, and there's a picture of me when I pick the camera up. They listen to me. They do little things like I asked for. And then John Badger, which I've seen Sasquatch here, I got a deer stand back in woods on that state land. It's just one I made, get 3-4 trees and make a platform, a frame, and make a platform, put some railings around it, so if I'm going to shoot, I can stand up, put some camouflage burlap around it, and my chair in there. But it wasn't big enough for 2 people. So he's sitting in there, and I got to kind of stand. But he asked me, can I put a camera up? And it would be my original gifting area, about 50 yards away, all in the woods, though. I gave in and said, yeah, go ahead. New battery, new lithium, new batteries, new SD card, new camera. He took it out of the package. And I put some peanut butter and some apples down there. We let it take a picture of us for the timestamp. And we're sitting there, and about 11 o'clock at night, it's so dark I can't even see him. And my shoulder's kind of touching his shoulder. Off about 25, 30 yards away, I see this square, like as wide as this doorway here, but taller, and it looks like the northern lights. It's shimmering, greenish, reddish, bluish, orangish, whitish, kind of shimmering like the northern lights do. I'm looking at it. I take my glasses off, rub my eyes. Am I seeing that? Yeah, I am seeing that. Put my glasses back on, and I whispered to John, John, you see that? He said, yeah, he'd been watching it too. All of a sudden, 2 big orbs come out of it. Bigger than beach balls. Now, this is in December, but there's not much snow. They're walking, these orbs, because we can hear the leaves crunching and the steps. Both of them go over to that, where that peanut butter and stuff is at. Maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes later, they come back. The first one is not an orb form. I see the cone head, the red eyes, the shoulders, the big arm swinging back and forth. And the one behind is in that orb thing. They go to that doorway, whatever you want to call it, orb or portal, and it's all gone. We're excited. We sat there for a little bit. We decided, let's get down. We go over there. The peanut butter is gone. The apples are gone. The batteries are drained dry because the camera won't turn on when we get home. The SD card is wiped clean. Not a picture of us. Nothing on it. So we seen them come out of a portal. One time, in our power line poles, they got a black plastic wrap 10 feet up. That's so porcupines, raccoons, whatever, cannot crawl past that. And there was one standing about 4 feet from it. It's even with that black plastic wrap, so it's 10 foot. I'm getting about 100 yards from it. And I decided, well, I'm going to take a picture of that, but I'm not taking my eyes off of it. So I get my phone out of my pocket, try to get it up, get the video thing going. I'm watching it the whole time. I got the video going, but all I got was the grass. I didn't have it up. That Sasquatch disappeared. Poof. It did not walk off because I watched it the whole time. It did not walk off. And that was earlier in the fall. In the summertime, Terry had to go up and help Samantha paint one of her rooms. So she left the kids with me, the 12-year-old and the 7-year-old. She said, don't take those girls out to the woods because she knows me in the woods all the time. I said, oh, no, I won't. So I said, after about an hour, let's walk down the power line. And we're not going in the woods. And I get out of the house. Oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, I don't need my phone. We're just walking down there and coming back. So we get halfway down on the next 40 acres by one of the power line poles. I see something just huge. My mind goes up. I don't remember a dead old tree being there. And I thought, of course there's no tree being there. They cleared that power line long, long time ago. And I get about 100 yards from it, and the kids are behind me messing around playing like they do, and it's the black Sasquatch. I turned around, and I said, Bristol, get up to me right now, girls, right now. And when I turned around, it was gone. Bristol said, Grandpa, I just seen a tall, hairy black giant walk in the woods. So she's seen it walk in the woods. So I go down there and see if I could see a tracker. So I went, no, nothing. We get home. I asked Bristol, draw what you're seeing. She said, I can't draw. I said, just shut your eyes, imagine what you're seeing, and draw it. Did I send you that picture? Well, what she drew.
I can't remember.
Yeah. What she drew, it's got arms down by its knees. That was her interpretation of it. She's not a good drawer, but she drew what she's seeing. And she remembered the arms were being down by its knees.
Well, that kind of falls in line too with my theory on how they're moving. With their longer arms like that, they're able to get their arms further out and almost feel like a really good 4-wheel drive. And I think they put their weight forward and off their back, for their waist down, and they just kind of push with that, and they're pulling. If that makes any sense, or the weight is leaning forward.
Well, you got to remember though, they can disappear in front of your eyes. You don't see them. You got to remember
true.
that. Yeah. Sometimes you got to. I don't mean you because I just met you. People got they got to stop thinking about as they're a big animal because they're not that. So they can do lots of things that we don't know. And I think they're telling me what they think I need to know. That's what they're doing now. They're telling me what I need to know, what they think I need.
Well, let me ask you. Well, let me ask you a question. I have a couple of them. One, have you named any of them? And two, why do you think that they're communicating with you?
Because I'm not trying to get evidence for the world off them, and they know it.
Okay.
My interaction like that started when I stopped trying to do that. That's
all right. What about, have you named any of them?
No.
No? Okay. Because so far you said you've seen the red one.
Yeah, Mike, the book writer, it's what I call him, that wrote the book. He calls it Big Red, so Big Red.
Okay, Big, yeah.
Yeah, but you know Robin Haynes? Have you heard of that name?
Not off the top of my head, no.
She's from Michigan, a psychic lady. She reached out to me, heard about my place there, and she said she's got 3 names for me. Ralphophilia, Darawima, and Sushi. Now, I've used those names and not got nothing, but I got something to tell you about that Ralphophilia. Well, last year, Brian Glenn, that was with me at Ohio, they're doing the computer thing. He went to one of those, what do you call them things? Where they got the dowsing rod guy there and the psychic ladies there and tarot card reader there and all them people there. And he asked the guy, can I hold the dowsing rods? And the guy said, yes. He picks them up and they turn right to him like this. The dowsing rod guy says, well, I've never seen that before. Couple booths down, there's a psychic lady. She said, come up to him. I've never seen that happen like that before. He started saying, yeah, I got a friend. She said, you got a friend that lives by Black Duck there and got a lot of Sasquatch activity. He didn't even get to say that. And she said, come on down. I want to hold your hands. I want to do a channeling on that place. So he does that, and she's speaking in some weird language, I guess. And first thing she says, they know when you come there. And I got a nickname for one of the ones that's there. He said, oh, what is it? Remember, Ralphophilia is the full name. She said one of the nicknames is, it's a lot shortened version of its real name, Ralph.
Look at Ralph.
Yeah, so that really validates what that Robin said. But I've used those names, tried out there and blah, blah. And I say, hey, can you guys give me a name so I don't just have to say you guys? I have not gotten that.
Oh, but
yeah.
Sushi?
Sushi
was the other. Sushi or Sushi?
Sushi, like fish, sushi.
That's a really odd.
Seems odd to me, too. Seems odd to me.
Now, when I come up there, I'm probably going to buy some sushi and see if that does anything for it.
Yeah. They like chocolate a lot. Candy bars really go good.
What about marshmallows?
I've never tried them.
So the on our property, Lisa and Ray, they accidentally started getting marshmallows. They thought the deer were like the marshmallows. They put it out right there at the deer feeder, and in a matter of minutes, they were gone. No deer came up to the feeder, no pictures, nothing, and the marshmallows were gone.
I think I'll try that tomorrow. I'm gonna get a whole bag. Now I got to tell you something. Okay, when the SRA was in the first camp here, I did my thing. I got some friends coming here, scare the hell out of them, and so I had 4 different spots. Okay, Andy and his son. Andy used to be for the BFR or whatever you call it. And about 1 a.m, they had some big footsteps come up to them and slap on the tent. Well, they were too scared to get out and look. The way I look at it is, if you're going to do that and you want to really experience it, why not get out and look? But they didn't. And two other guys, I had them in the northeast corner. They had 2 tents and a cooler that was latched like this, and a table. And about 7 in the morning, they both got up, and one guy said to the other guy, "Did you have your breakfast?" The other guy says, "No, I thought you did." It unlatched your cooler, lifted the thing up, went through all the stuff they could see, shut the door, and put some of the stuff on the table. That's how they got messed with. So that mid morning, they want to go back to the state land so I can show them that I call it the original teepee and some structures there. Now I got messed with too that day. My house is locked because nobody's home. Terry's up at an Oak Island. That's by Canada, but not Nova Scotia. Not the one, the mystery of Oak Island, on Lake of the Woods, Oak Island.
It's been on TV for like 15 years.
Yeah, they did find a top. What do they call that? That's a top pocket or something.
Yeah, that's all they found.
Yeah. I know. And anyway, so I'm taking them back there, and I don't realize, and does it anybody else, that the dad and the son are about 100 feet from us, and they're sensing something by them. But I'm away from them, and they don't say nothing. And these 3 ravens are following us, and they're doing their squawking thing. And I say, "Hey, you guys, listen here. I can sound like a raven." Not that great, but I did my little raven call, and there was a Sasquatch by those 2, and it got up and walked off, and they seen it. So that was exciting.
Okay, so you've mentioned ravens quite a bit. Raven sign stuff. Yeah. Do you know what the correlation is between them and ravens?
I do not know. Watchers?
Because the raven's considered really, obviously was a messenger of Odin in Norse mythology. They would consider the ravens also to help, carry them over to Valhalla. In Game of Thrones, they use ravens instead of pigeons. So the raven seems to be kind of this, key creature.
Yeah.
And you kept mentioning it. So I'm wondering what the correlation is between, them and raven.
I don't know. That's why I don't give opinions. But if I had to give opinions, a watcher? I don't know. A watcher, maybe?
Maybe. I just think it's funny also that we call a group of, ravens, a murderer. Some murderer crows,
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of strikes me as odd.
Yeah. So we are leaving. I take them down another trail along the river to get back to the house, which is a long walk, and I come across that little one. "Hey, be quiet. Bunch of blood on the trail. Fresh blood." Well, it was a deer. I'm good at tracking deer, so I'm tracking it. They're behind me. You know what was weird about it? It was carrying the deer, because it was carrying the deer in his arm like this. It wasn't
I believe that.
It wasn't a bear or a cougar or anything, because it must have did something by its neck or its nose or to talk. It was like fresh, foamy like blood. It must have talked to one, because blood would be squirting out on the right side. It would switch. Blood would be on this side. That's weird.
Switching arms.
It had switch arms. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'd get to a little spot of blood, and I'd put a little piece of toilet paper or something down so I could always go back to that. All of a sudden, none. No blood. Nothing. Just, we couldn't follow it no more. And it was going towards my deer stand by that gifting area. That's where it was happening. So it must have been that one that he's seen, must have got a deer. I don't know.
So my theory is, with a lot of hunters, every hunter I've talked to, I'll ask him, you understand, you see the deer comes out, you fire, you hit the deer, you hit the deer, you got a good wound on it, and it's not a drop shot, and the deer bounces in the wood line. So, of course, you wait a few minutes, give 30 minutes or so, climb out your stand, go find the blood, start tracking the blood, and boom, the blood is gone, and there's no animal at all whatsoever. So I think that they understand what we're doing, and they just wait for that opportunity to pop up, and they go after the deer.
Not too often. You bet it has happened to me too. All of a sudden, I can't find it. I can't find nothing. But anyways, you'll like this one. When you buy a pound of butter, you got the 4 sticks. You know what I mean? I get home, I unlock the door, and it come in the house there, unwrapped a stick of butter, took it out of the refrigerator, and put a stick of butter on my refrigerator door. What? Okay.
That is, so what's funny too is there's a lot of people out there that talk about, if you look at poltergeist activity in a house, and then you go off of, Sasquatch encounters out in the woods. And the only thing that separates the two a lot of times, it seems like, is the fact that one's in the woods and one's in the house. And, to where you're talking about interdimensional beings and all that good stuff, and that comes into a whole bunch of other cryptids as well. I'm a firm believer in the Fae. I have a big war with the Fae. I do a lot of, I'm not a big fan of the Fae.
What is a Fae?
So
I don't even know. What's a Fae?
the fairies.
What?
The fairies.
I got something to tell you about that too.
Oh, good Lord. We may have to say that one for a part two, if you don't mind. But I tell you,
Yeah, I seen one.
see, now that does not surprise me. I'm at war with the Fae. I'll tell you right now, I am at a big war with the Fae, and have been for about 2 years now, going on over a year and a half. All by complete accident. Don't know how I upset them and vice versa, but we do not like each other. Like when I first moved into this house, right off the bat, ended up having the hot water pipe busted. It was a full week before it was over a week before I actually had hot water through the whole entire house. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And so, I've had one issue after another issue, and the landlord's like going, I have no idea what's going on. I was like going, oh, I do. There's some fake folk,
Really? Jeez. Now, I've only ever seen Sasquatch besides that fairy thing one time. So I'm assuming it's always Sasquatch, but maybe I'm wrong because people that come here, the psychic people, and I've had a medicine man come here from the Red Lake Reservation, some other Indian people, they say there's way more going on here than Sasquatch. Way more. So,
I'll believe that.
Yeah.
I fully believe that in heavily Sasquatch areas, in areas where they're heavily at, there is more going on. Hence the X's.
Right. And then the other thing is I'm asking for it because I want the experience, because I want to learn as much as I can. So I'm asking for it. I got another one.
Oh, yeah.
We got two John Deere lawnmowers. One is a 425. And after what they did, I had to see what it weighed. It weighed 1,000 pounds. I parked it, got done mowing. I parked it up by our dog kennel. So it's facing east. I come in and eat something. I go back out. It's a 425 John Deere. I go back out. Within 20 minutes, it's facing north and south, 75 yards away on the flat. It didn't roll there. It's got hydrostatic transmission. You can't roll it. You have to pull that lever up. It was on flat ground. Facing east, go out there, it's facing north and south. That's for less than 20 minutes. That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's where, Tony Merkel's crew went out to the Uintas there in Utah, and they were not at Skinwalker Ranch. They were at a property next to Skinwalker Ranch, and they actually had an 18-foot trailer physically get shifted.
Did they?
And moved.
Yeah. Yep. See, did they lift it with their strength or did they do it with their mind? I don't know how they did it. I didn't see it be done. You know what I did? I just said, oh my God, that's a good one, you guys. Have some more fun. Here's another one. Here's another one they did. It was on a Saturday a couple years ago. There's a creek called Spring Creek, runs into the Cormorant River. There was a trail there and it started growing in like this. There in little poplar trees like that. I wanted to walk through there because the river was really flooded, the bigger one, for my deer hunting. I couldn't get across the little bridge. So I cleared that trail out really nicely. And I told Tanner, take all this stuff I'm cutting, get it farther back in the woods, but pile it in a neat pile. Don't just throw it. So I have all the butts facing the same way. So he did that. Guess what? I come back on Sunday morning. All that brush was taken out from where he piled it and put across a trail where I couldn't get through, about 3 to 4 feet tall, across the whole trail. I just laughed. I said, oh my God, you guys got me on that one. I just laughed about it. Then I made a deer stand right behind the house here. My one son from Kansas was going to come up here to hunt. And so I did the same thing. Cleared out some little popples and all that kind of stuff and had him pile it the same way. I come back the next day and there's a popple about that big, laying right in my shooting lane, right in the middle across a pine tree where it's right in my way. It's still there. I never took it out. Still laying there. One time we came home, they looked in our window of our house, and it's shaped that big like a cone head. And all the glass was picked up and put on the deck in a pile. I'm assuming they must have looked in there like that and broke the window like that. I haven't fixed it yet. It's still that way. I know there's so much. They like to mess with me a lot here.
You know, I honestly, I love it. I mean, I would love an opportunity to come up and spend some time up on your property. I'm not going to lie. I really would.
You just have
You know,
one.
so
I don't let nobody have no electronics here because my place is not for evidence; it's for the experience. And the reason I do that because I've got a lot now, and I don't want to ruin what I got going on. And they trust me now, so I want to keep it that way.
well, yeah, and I'll be honest with you too. If I was to come up there, I would respect everything that you wanted on your property. That's your property.
Yeah. Well, that's what Chris.
So, like, yeah, like you know, in our investigation area up there, I mean, their property owners are like, go get pictures, please get something. But they know it's there. They've seen it. And the one part about it is too. So like Ray is you know former Marine, law enforcement. You know Ray's a pretty hardcore guy.
Mhm.
He's older than I am, and the guy can outrun me and you and Jacob and
Yeah.
the neighborhood. He goes on these K runs all the time. He will not leave the front porch without a rifle.
Oh, he won't. No.
He is. I mean, something happened, and I tried to talk to him about it when we were up there. So I talked to because they came on the show. That's how I was able to go up there, and they talked about it, and we went out there, and he looked at me and goes, "You're not carrying?" I was like, "No." I looked at him and said, "Well, because you are, and I know Jacob's got a sidearm, so I'll be honest with you. If anything's going to come and get me, it's going to be Sasquatch size. Nothing that we're going to fire at them is going to stop them. So, I'm not going to have the excess weight." But that evening was coming, and he looked at me and he goes, "Are you really going out at night?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here. I want to get." And he goes, "I won't be with you." And I was like, "Well, that's okay. It's not a problem. And he's like, I don't leave the front. I don't leave the porch area at night. I won't do it." And he would not tell me, well, wow, the lights just got really, really bright on me.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
It did. Well, Jacob was here. We were trying to get the TV going and fix some other stuff. And, like I told us to run behind, got off work late. So,
Yeah.
but he's been real polite. He hasn't left yet because he knows by starting his truck up, it's going to mess up the sound quality. So I give him props there. But, so the evening, though, he wasn't going to go. Even Jacob was, because, again, we had the growl, found the knuckle track and stuff. And Jacob looked at me and goes, "Why don't they move? I mean, why don't they just?" I was like, "Well, this is their property. This is their home, and they want to cohabitate. They don't want to, be scared off and vice versa." And I pretty much told him, I said, one of the best things you can do is just get some lights set up around your acre that you have that you don't want them on, sensor lights to come on, and it has not worked. They just messaged me this morning, ironic enough, and said they went out and bought a huge floodlight to light up the whole back property to try and keep them away because they're getting too close for comfort, is what they said.
Oh, really? So, when you did that thing with Jason Kenzie, was the She Squatcher ladies there with you? The girls?
No.
She Squatcher? No.
No.
You know who I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah. You know about the remote viewing? I'm sure you do, huh?
Yeah.
You believe it?
I'm not going to confirm nor deny anything. I've not talked to them.
Okay. Well, anyways, the head.
We'll talk off air.
Huh?
We'll talk off air.
Okay. So the head one can do remote viewing, Jen. And so I was going to go sit back down by my fire ring, and I don't usually do that at nighttime by myself. But it was early, and I'm sitting there, and I decided to text her. "Hey, Jen, I'm doing something I never usually do, and I really feel weird. I'm sitting at my fire ring by myself." Then I get a really terrible scream at me. Bad. I knew what it was. By the crick. That didn't bother me any, not really. And I said, she said, "Why? Because you're by yourself?" I texted her, said, "Yes. Can you do a remote view for me to see if there's anything here?" She says, "No, I can't. I'm too busy right now doing some other stuff." So we let go at that. Then I called John Badger, which he's been here a lot. And he used to be the flesh and blood guy, but he's not anymore after being to this place. And talking to him, it's getting dark out. It is dark now. Got my little fire going. All of a sudden, I hear 2 footsteps and some brush break right behind me, like 3 feet behind me, and I'm sitting on this little old couch. I said, "John, I just heard 2 footsteps and some brush break right behind me. I got to let you go. I got to get some more wood on the fire." All of a sudden, the phone vibrates, and it's Jen. She says, "Randy, you have a Sasquatch walked up on you, and you need to stop turning around looking at it." She seen that, and she was seeing me in real time turning around and looking at it, because that's what I was doing. Oh, I'm dead serious. Yes.
That is
She'd see me
crazy.
in real time. She said, you got to stop turning around looking at it. Now, I was dumb. I should have said, hey, you don't got to sneak up on me. Come on in here. But I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. Here's another one. I'm sending that green, do my gifting, and it's like 6 o'clock. It's in the fall. Must be like October sometime. And I'm sitting there, but when I got done to do my gifting, I said, hey, you guys, I'm going to go sit in that green deer stand. Now, this is really close. It's an open, but it's close where I do my gifting. I'm going to go sit in that deer stand. I'd like you to come to me. So I'm sitting there, maybe an hour, and all of a sudden, my eyes go out of focus and I get really dizzy. What the heck? And I go down like this. Put my elbows on my knees. And then I get up. Oh, my God, I'm so dizzy. I go back down again, and there's a footstep right by me in the crunchy leaves. I look up, and there's a Sasquatch right there. I could have touched him. We're like that close to each other. I look at him. It takes another step. I go like this. See the half of the back of his head and the shoulders and all that? And it went poof, gone. It was daylight. If I would have walked more, I'd have heard the leaves crunching. Nothing. It just went poof. It was gone. Now that plywood is 9.5 feet up at the top. So I just sat over. I could see it in the chair. It was that much taller than a 9.5 foot plywood. Probably a 10.5 footer. It was the black one.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's what I mean.
Whoa.
When I say they can disappear in front of your eyes, they can. That's not no theory. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it happen more than once, not just once. And if I never seen that, I wouldn't be saying that. I wouldn't say, well, I got a theory. I think they can do this. 'Cause I don't say that because I don't know. I'm just guessing.
No, and I'll be honest.
You know what
with
I'm
you,
saying?
I
Yeah.
like the fact, what you're doing is, like, for me, like, I have the theory on how they walk. It's because I don't know, and it's just based upon some of the evidence I've seen and some of the encounters that I've dealt with.
Right.
My own personal encounters. But you're coming out and you're saying, this is what happened. This is what it is. It's black and white. I'm not giving you any gray area. I'm not going to tell you what I think because I only want you to know what I know. Because we could theorize. You and me could probably theorize for the next 10 hours.
Exactly right.
Honestly.
Yeah. And we still wouldn't know.
You're
right.
We wouldn't have a clue. I mean, for me, it's fun to theorize. And, my theories change. Like I told you, at the beginning of the show, the episode, when I first came into this thing, I was on a full-blown flesh and blood, I want to kill one. I don't want to shoot one at all. I do not want to kill it.
No.
Nothing. I did it to a girl last year, and she, she was, at first she was kind of, okay, it's kind of cool. That's what you kind of do. And finally she just like, you're going to manifest these things in your backyard. I was like, I want to manifest Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying. I want.
Yeah, it needs to come on in, have a beverage. We'll talk. What's happening, man? Pull up by the fire. Let's talk. I want to know.
Like Terry says, how long are you going to keep doing this? Forever. My long-term goal is to have a one-on-one, and maybe I'll never get that, but that's my long-term goal of this. I have a one-on-one.
Man, I tell you what,
really learn.
I want you to have that one-on-one. I mean, you're putting the work in, you're showing the respect in, you're doing everything, in my opinion, right to get that one-on-one encounter. And I think you're going to get it the more you keep doing everything. And the other thing too, I asked you earlier about why you think that they're communicating with you. One thing I had, it just sparked in my head a few minutes ago. I had to make a note about it. So you're musically talented. So that means where I think that people, artists, musicians, and authors are more open than everybody else. For some reason, it seems they have more encounters, are more open. There's like a weird, unique talent right there, a self-discipline as well. If you think about it, because to play music, you have to be self-disciplined. You have to. I mean, how many hours did you put in on practice? Probably years. How many years of practice?
At the beginning, a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more you did, the better you got, and you came in tune, and so you're able to be in tune with certain things. And I think with artists, they see the world in a unique way as well, and that's why they're able to paint the way they're able to paint for that reason. And I think that artists and musicians and writers are such a really underrated skills to have. And I think that's the reason why a lot of you guys, that might be why that you're able to do it. When you were told to sing.
That's what other people said too. Like I can hear, I don't even have to know the band. I can set in with them. I can hear like what the chords, kind of what they're going to be before they be. I can hear that in my head.
You see?
Yeah.
See, that's me. See, I love music. I love music. I have zero music talent at all whatsoever. I promise. The one thing you never want me to do is try and sing, and you never want me to try and play any instrument at all because it'll sound like somebody's being murdered, and not in a really good way either. It'd be horrible. But Randy, I got to bring this in for a landing. We're over an hour and a half.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I would love to have you come back on the show further down the road. I do want to talk to you off air as well, though. Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
I
Definitely,
appreciate that.
anytime.
I do want.
I'm an
All right,
open
well,
book.
man, I love that.
I'm an open book on this
Awesome.
here because there's so many wrong opinions out there. I want to start saying what it really is and spread the word what it really is and maybe help people stop trying to get evidence and they'll get evidence. But I'm fortunate that I live right here. Go right out my back door and it's here. I don't need to travel around. That's the difference. And I'm out in the woods every day. I don't care if it's 40 below on the thermometer, raining, it doesn't make no difference. I'm there if I'm home. So I never not do what I'm doing.
You got to let me know when you head back up to Jackson Hole. I'll get my little sister and have her come check you guys out.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, so she can walk up and go, "Hey, you know my brother."
Yeah, well, we used to play at the $1 Million Club.
All right, I'll have to find out about that
in
one.
Jackson
So
Hole.
she'd know all of it. She really would.
Well, that's still going. That place is.
Randy, man, I got to say thank you so very much for coming on. And I had a blast with the short little time I was able to meet with you. We had Golden Corral together. We can say that.
Yeah, and I like that place. That didn't bother one bit. That was kind of good. They don't have them in Minnesota no more.
Yeah, well, we have a Golden Corral here. And the last time I went to the Golden Corral was a couple of years ago. Went there for dinner. Me and the girl I was with at the time. And we thought it'd be kind of cool. Let's go to the Golden Corral. Why not? It'll be something goofy. We were both sick within 30 minutes of getting home from the restaurant. Yeah, it was. And so when Justin mentioned, we're going to meet the Golden Corral. And Jacob, back on this one, was like, couldn't we have found somewhere else?
You know what else I like?
Was so worried I was going to get sick, but the meatloaf looked good. I was like, I'm going to jump into meatloaf. It was good. I never got sick, so it was really good. I was really impressed with it.
Here's what else I like. I know it's a greasy old spoon, but we don't have them.
Did you freeze up on me?
Waffle House.
I lost your connection.
Oh, did I?
Oh, man. Oh, we're trying to connect.
I'm here.
All right, Randy. If we can't get connected in a few minutes, buddy, then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on up. I'll bring it in for a landing, you guys. Lost Randy's connection. Randy has mentioned before that he has had issues with trying to, a lot of times we had issues previously trying to log in. But thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. I greatly appreciate everything. Please keep liking and subscribing. We do have a Patreon. I lost Randy completely. We do have a Patreon out there, you guys. So if you do want commercial-free episodes, go ahead and check out the Patreon. All the episodes are going to be up on Patreon. Commercial-free, intro-free, just the episode itself. So check it out. Check out the Patreon. Check out Buy Me a Coffee. And I'll see you next time. Y'all keep on squatching. It is showtime.
I can do anything that I want. I can do anything that I want now. I can do anything that I want. Hey, hey, if it is to be, you know that it's up to me. I'm headed to the front. I can be anything that I want. I can be anything that I want now. I can be anything that I want. Hey, hey, if it is to be, you know that's up to me. I'm headed to the front. 'Cause I'm the king of the world.